Ever get that feeling that your residents association might be taking you for a ride? Well, you're going to want to hear this. We're about to break down a fascinating, real-life dispute. It all started with a simple, kind of strange request and then spiraled into this huge investigation of accountability, ownership, and, you guessed it, money. Honestly, it's a perfect playbook for how one person can stand up and challenge the system.
So, let's put you in the middle of it. Imagine you get an email tomorrow. It's from your association, and they're demanding a copy of your sale deed. For record updation. It feels a little off, right? Are you just going to hand over one of your most private, most sensitive documents? Well, that's exactly where this whole story kicks off.
So, what do? The homeowner at the center of our story decided to push back. They didn't just comply, they immediately started questioning the whole thing, the legality, the purpose, kicking off a major fight over the privacy of their own personal papers.
And here's the breakdown of why the request was just wrong. First off, there was absolutely no legal basis for it. Nothing in the law, not even in the association's own rulebook. On top of that, it steps all over the fundamental right to privacy under the Indian Constitution. And I mean, just think about it for a second. Handing over your sale deed, that opens up huge risks for data misuse, even identity theft. But the most important point is this. The association is there to govern the common areas, not your private home. They have no jurisdiction.
Now, this first battle over privacy was a big deal, for sure, but it turned out to be just the tip of the iceberg. That little nagging suspicion the homeowner had, that feeling that something wasn't quite right, it led them to pull on a thread that was about to unravel a whole lot more.
So what was this bigger issue? Well, it turns out it wasn't really about the homeowner's private deed at all. The real mystery was about the legal ownership of all the shared property. We're talking the parks, the roads, all the community facilities. That became the real heart of the matter.
Okay, to really get what's going on here, you need to know about one crucial document, the deed of conveyance. The easiest way to think about it is like the master key for the entire community. It's the official legal paper that hands over ownership of all the common areas from the builder to the residents association. It's what makes the association the actual legal owner.
And the difference here is night and day. Without that deed, the association is basically just a caretaker. They can't sell anything, they can't make transactions on the property, because they have no legal title. Their only job is to preserve what's there. But with the deed, they become the legal owner, holding the full title, with the power to manage and even leverage those assets for everyone's benefits. The power shift is just enormous.
And here it is, the bombshell. After asking again and again, it became clear that this incredibly important document, the deed of conveyance, was missing. The association had been operating with the full authority of an owner when legally it was just a caretaker with no title to the very land it was supposed to be governing. Okay, so if the association didn't legally own the land, what else was going on? Well, the next phase of the investigation did what you always do in these situations. It followed the money. And that's when some really serious financial red flags started popping up.
The very first red flag was this number, 52.7 lakh rupees. That's about 63,000 US dollars, a pretty hefty chunk of change that just appeared in the association's books. The big question was, where did it come from?
When they looked at the accounting entry, it was suspiciously vague. All it said was, refund of project money. A description like that raises way more questions than it answers. I mean, that's the key, right? A refund implies money is being returned. But a refund for what project exactly? And who owed the money in the first place? More importantly, why was it being routed through the association, especially when it was connected to land they didn't even legally own? The committee had no answers. And then came this absolutely shocking allegation. The source material claims that common property was involved in a deal where the reported price was just 1/8 of its actual market value. So not only was the association allegedly involved in deals on land it didn't own, but it was happening at a tiny fraction of the real price. So, faced with total silence and evasion, the homeowner didn't just get angry, they got strategic. They put together what is, for all intents and purposes, a playbook for accountability. And they used a series of incredibly sharp, precise questions as a weapon to force transparency. Seriously, this is a template anyone can learn from. The strategy was just brilliant. First, the questions were designed to force the committee to admit on the record that they didn't have the deed of conveyance. Boom. Step 1. Establish their lack of authority. Second, they hit him with questions demanding a crystal clear explanation for that 52.7 lakhs. Step 2, question the money trail. Third, they asked the most obvious question in the world. Why were you hiding all of this from us? And finally, they made it personal.
This question, number 68 in the formal notice, might be the most powerful one of all. It takes this abstract legal idea of fiduciary duty, which really just means a responsibility to act in someone else's best interests, and it makes it intensely personal. It asks the committee members to put themselves in the homeowner's shoes. It's a devastatingly effective question. It's an ethical checkmate. So why does one dispute in one single community matter to the rest of us? Because the issues here, privacy, ownership, financial transparency, they're universal. And the price of silence in situations like this, well, it's paid by every single homeowner. This table just lays it all out perfectly. That initial demand for deeds, it wasn't just a misstep. It was an abuse of power that risked a massive privacy breach. Those submarket deals, not just bad management, they risked serious charges like breach of trust and even tax evasion, leading to direct financial losses. And just ignoring all the complaints, that could be seen as willful blindness and could lead to everyone's money being used to defend the committee in court.
The potential fallout here is incredibly severe. We're talking about the permanent loss of community land, the association getting hit with huge tax penalties, even personal criminal liability for the committee members. And at the end of the day, it results in a complete and total loss of trust and legitimacy for the very people who are supposed to be in charge.
And all of this leaves us with one final crucial question. In any community, whether it's a residents association or something bigger, there's a point where just staying quiet when serious questions are being asked is no longer a neutral act. This case study forces all of us to ask, at what point does silence become complicity?